He showed up in a big diesel truck with like a down vest and a flannel shirt and like a hat, and he was just like, so
Were you like
not
into it?
Yes.
Oh,
I immediately, it was like instant. I called my mom that day and said, I'm going to marry this guy.
This is your official invitation to the Pasta Night Club.
We're Michelle
and Ashley,
the female co-founder duo of the Pasta Night Couples Journal Set. We interview couples who are just trying their best.
Let's get into the dirty stuff.
Asking the real, hard, sometimes uncomfortable questions we all really want to know.
Oh,
Or
you guys are having
like-
sex every day?
I mean, yeah.
Welcome to Love and Pasta. You know, Michelle, just like relationships, furniture tells a story, and sometimes it needs a little love to keep that story going.
Exactly. And that's where Once Upon Upholstery comes in. They're all about restoring the beauty in what matters most. Whether it's your favorite couch or a cherished family heirloom, they've got you covered.
Yeah, Chris and I actually used them to redo our Restoration Hardware cloud couch after it got completely ruined during our move from Austin to Miami, and they did an amazing job.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. It's such a good example. Just like couples grow and evolve, so do the pieces that fill your home. Once Upon Upholstery's skilled artisans breathe new life into your furniture, creating spaces that are as timeless as your love story.
So if your furniture needs a fresh start, like your relationship sometimes does, head to onceuponupholstery.com.
And don't forget to follow them on Instagram at Once Upon Upholstery for some major home inspiration.
Michelle,
Ashley,
we did it.
it's our first episode.
Our first episode of Love and
I
Pasta.
think we got to cheers to that.
We've been talking about this for so long. We did it.
Yes.
I feel like everyone who's listening to this, whatever you have gotten yourself to do that you didn't think that you were gonna just make it happen and you did it, you should like stop right now and give yourself a pat on the back. We're proud of you. We're proud of us.
We're proud of us.
And we're really proud of Pat and Molly, who was our first ever interview for Love and Pasta.
Yeah, an amazing couple.
An amazing couple that you would not believe what they got done in their first year of their relationship.
And it was juicy and great.
A Vegas wedding, meeting all the family.
Oh my God, don't give it all away.
What about the topless down the mountain? That was like a whole thing for me.
Okay, I'm sure you guys are going to be so excited to listen in. So here goes.
I literally could not be more excited to have Molly and Pat Parenza with us today. They're officially our first couples interview, but also friends of mine that are near and dear to my heart. I've been telling Michelle for a really long time now that I wanted to have you guys on. You have been such an inspiration for me. I've known you guys for so long. I'm like gonna try not to cry.
Ashley.
But you guys, like, you've known me through like a failed engagement. You guys have seen me through a lot of different relationships, and being able to be on the outside and witness your love and having two beautiful daughters that I'm obsessed with. But also like never losing your personalities. I think that that's the thing that like really has just drawn me to you guys as a couple so much. Like I'm so inspired by that. And so thank you guys for being here.
So welcome.
Oh, thank you for having us. Ashley, you're going to make me cry. That is the nicest. I'm so glad we came. I love it
It's
here
hard
already.
to make Molly cry
Oh
too.
my
I'd have to say that.
That is very
Yeah,
sweet.
no, it's really true though. You know, like I've had so many like different like failed relationships, and just like being able to see you guys go through so much. Like, you know, I'm excited for you to share your story.
I cannot wait to hear it.
I've like given Michelle like bits and pieces, but I really wanted to be able to like let you guys really blow her away.
There's a few different versions of our story too, depending on who's telling them. So it's a good thing that you have both of us here.
Well, and that's the whole point.
Mine's the real version.
Okay, so should we start with your version and then we'll hear
boy.
the real version?
Where to begin? Of course, we can start with my version, but I always love to give Molly the option to go first if she likes.
Well, I want to
Ladies
hear.
first.
I want to hear. I want to hear where you start.
Okay, so we're just gonna start with like how we met and
Yeah.
what drew us to each other. Oh boy. Okay, so a lot of what we do in our relationship is still rooted in what we do for business too. so the story kind of starts there. My brother and our other business partner had bought
See,
a
this is why our
business.
stories are so different.
Yeah, they had bought
It
a
already
business
started. He
and
said hello.
they took
And she was like,
control.
so wrong.
It's wrong.
Okay, so they took control of that business and in January. But before they had control, they were just partying in Miami. And I was living in Vermont and was really lonely. I was living with my dad running our family toy business.
Shout out to Hug a Planet.
Shout out Hug a Planet. Check it out.
Nice plug.
As an example, I had my Tinder radius to like 200 miles. I was ready to drive to Canada or New Hampshire.
I'm gonna leave right now. I hate this story. Like I was desperate.
But
I was in Montreal. I swear to you, I was going over the border.
Well, I think that is a good framework because I was kind of going to Miami looking for love in my own way. Maybe not looking to settle down or not thinking I wanted to settle down at that point. I was only 24. It was actually on my birthday in Art Basel. And so,
You were so young when you guys met?
yeah, very young or young on the scale of,
I was
think
26.
people that get married now.
Oh.
So I'm older than him.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that you were older.
So it was there was a big party that actually I thought was for me, but it was for Molly's best friend, Lisa Martin. I don't know if you know Lisa. Shout out
I
Lisa.
don't know Lisa.
So Lisa had a yacht full of her girlfriends on her friend's yacht, and my brother and my other business partner told me that they got a yacht for me full of girls. And so I walked onto the boat thinking like, oh, no way, all these girls are here for me, coming from 200-mile Tinder radius in Vermont. And we met on this boat and we kind of hit it off there. There was some moments where we were dancing together and there's several videos of us just kind of, I think people saw that there was going to be something blooming on this interaction.
Wait, did something catch your eye about her?
Something caught my eye for sure. There was a couple of things that caught my eye about Molly.
Yeah.
Those were two things for sure. But Molly's got a great energy about her.
Oh, wow, the best energy.
She is the life of the party, which I fall into as well. So there was just
And we were on a boat, so I was like a siren. I tricked him.
exactly.
No, just kidding.
So nothing really happened after that, and then like I didn't find any girls in Miami. I went home with only an eye for Molly, I guess. And then we were planning my dad's 60th birthday party in Sugarbush, and Molly is a skier. Shout out Sugarbush. Molly ended up coming up to our ski house to celebrate my dad's birthday, just kind of on a whim. And there's another story there, but I'll try to keep it concise. And so she had booked a completely different ticket, and there was no one to pick her up at the airport. And immediately upon hearing that news, I volunteered. I was like, oh, Miami Molly needs a ride. I'll pick her up. So
yeah, so that's her Instagram.
that was
my Instagram.
Yeah.
Miami Molly.
Oh, it's not anymore.
And someone else took it after I got rid of it. But
Tragic.
I'm still Miami Molly.
It
I'm
will
still
live
the
in
original
infamy,
Miami
though.
Molly.
Oh my God, you're always gonna be Miami.
But now I'm Molly Forenza.
To me
Okay,
too.
okay.
To me too. There's so many videos of Miami Molly. So then I really just it was like freezing, like negative 15 degrees. I picked her up in my truck and I got out and I opened the door for her. And
Wow.
having known Molly and known Miami, I was like kind of known what she was familiar with. And my goal was like, I'm just gonna open the door, be a gentleman, treat her as nicely as possible.
Dead.
And
I know.
we went to the liquor store.
But I want to
immediately
interject real
after.
quick because when I flew to Vermont, I told my mom, I was like, I feel like I need to leave Miami and meet a nice boy in Vermont. I'm going to go meet my husband while I'm up there. And I got off the plane and he came to pick me up. I thought his sister was picking me up. And so he came to pick me up. And he showed up in a big diesel truck with like a down vest and a flannel shirt and like a hat. And he was just like,
Were you
so
like
not
into it?
Miami. Yes.
Oh,
I immediately, it was like instant. He had all his layers on and he was just.
Boots and my
I
flannel.
told my mom that
Did you
day I
dress
was gonna,
well? Were you like, I need to impress her?
I mean, I'm a big Supreme fan. Shout out
Head to
Supreme. So
toe.
I was like,
A lot of
I had the
shots.
Supreme flannel, Supreme vest, but I guess it's Vermont chic. I'm the
Okay,
only one of
yeah.
my friends in Vermont that like,
Yeah.
buys Supreme obsessively.
Well, I called my mom that day and said, I'm going to marry this guy. So I knew right
oh
then.
my God.
And then really throughout the weekend, I was introducing Molly to my grandmother and my aunts and my uncles. We were
This
all
is my
there to
girlfriend.
celebrate.
We
His
just
fiance.
met.
I was like, hey, this is
That's
my
funny, his
fiance. They all
fiancé.
thought we were
This is the whole
joking,
family.
but like we quickly adopted, like we just kind of knew there was a really solid connection. And I kind of said this earlier, I was like, I'm faking it till I make it. I was so excited that Molly was this into me. And I was just like,
Aw.
oh
I
my
didn't
God,
know
of
any of
course.
this, and this is so
Yes, I
cute.
love
It's
you.
the best story,
Yeah.
right? Wait, but I have a question. So, as far as like him going around and calling you his fiance, like, did you guys have this conversation like openly, or were you like,
No, it really just kind of was like
no.
a joke that
was, like,
sort of started to
natural.
evolve, at least how
It
I
was-
remember it. But I
we
also
were
have to
joking
say,
for sure.
when we were on this trip, like Pat's family's been skiing this mountain for like 3 generations.
Okay.
And when we were on this trip, Pat's brother dared me to ski down the mountain topless. And I'd never been there, and I didn't think
That's
I'd
Miami
ever go
Holly.
back. I never thought I'd go back. So I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I go up to the top of the mountain. I unzip my like one piece. I was wearing his Aunt Patricia's
One piece
red,
vintage
red
hot
ski
red
suit.
ski suit, yeah.
And I went down the mountain topless, which was so much fun. But
We
now
all
that
congregated
we were married,
at the top. They had all
of
the
his
friends
dad's
around. Kids
friends
were
like
skiing
have
by.
pictures of me.
I still have those
skiing topless
pictures.
down this
Insert
mountain.
picture here.
Insert picture.
So,
another great photo for the show notes?
yeah, exactly.
We'll
But
do
I'm
a
like,
sunset.
We'll put pasta.
Literally,
Oh
pasta.
my God, she needs farfalle.
Little pasta,
I know,
little farfalles.
just like that.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
like that. So that's how I got him.
Oh
So-
my God, you
So-
earned your farfalles.
So we came back to Miami and we were FaceTiming like every day for 5 days.
You came back to Miami
I
alone.
Yeah.
came back to Miami alone and we just like kept talking. I don't know if I missed any other part of the story you wanted to tell.
No, I don't think so. This story goes on and on and on. We really have to.
Well, okay, so I came back to Miami and I was in Miami and he was like wanting to see me and I went out.
Well, we were FaceTime dating. I remember serenading. You were living with 3 girls or 2 other girls at the time. I remember like serenading you with my guitar in the nude.
Literally.
Like just
Right,
covered
that's
up
how you
singing
did.
songs. I don't even
Another
remember like
Another photo.
another photo. I don't know if we have those.
I do.
I do.
I have
Molly
one.
took
I
those screenshots.
This is
Just
so
one.
But
the Ish newsletter, everyone, is gonna have to be so censored for this month when we feature them.
So this is so then when we were out in when I was out in Miami on a Friday night and he wanted to come and see me and we were out with his brother and some friends and they were like, "Are you guys going to get married?" And we were like, "Yes, we are." And this is where the versions of our stories get a little blurred, but long story short, we ended up the next day in Vegas and got married.
So one of the things that Michelle and I have been talking about like recently was like, what are the things that you have to agree upon before you get married, right? Like there's so many things that people stress you out about. Like you need to talk about finances. You need to talk about how many, like, are you going to have kids or not? Like whatever, all of those things, right? Like what at that point, walking up and getting married, had you guys like even talked about?
None of it. None of it.
Yeah, really
None
none
of
of it at all.
Because like now fast
I-
forward, like you're with 2 children living in
Yeah.
Miami Beach, like this thick life. But like,
I always knew Pat would like live a nice life, and I feel like I cheated because I'd met his family. I'd gone up there. I really liked his
Yeah.
sister. I like his brother. I loved his grandmother.
What made you feel like this will work, or did you not even think about that? Were you not
Yeah,
thinking
did you,
like
like, not
long
care?
term? Were you like, we'll
I
get
mean-
you
He
guys
does remind me of a Virginia boy. I mean, there's something. I'm from Virginia, so
Oh,
there's
okay.
something like about those Vermont boys and the Virginia boys that are like, you know, look at his hair. I mean, the little flip, and like I just like he's my type.
yeah.
So I knew
Oh.
that. And I also never knew that I wanted to have children. I never really like thought about children. But when I met Pat, I knew I wanted to have his children.
Ooh, that's exciting.
That's
And
really interesting.
yes. And I was like, I'm going to have his babies.
Oh.
And then there we go. Then we had 2.
So like what was the most surprising things that you learned about each other? Like once you guys like okay, so like you got married, then what happened? Like did you move in together right away? Like did you like
yeah,
what
was
did
there
you
anything
do?
like
Yeah, so
Any
I packed
struggles?
for
Yeah.
my life. Essentially, I packed my bag and we went to Vegas, and then they were all on different trips back to Miami. Somehow, I got back to Miami before everyone else. But essentially, I moved in with Molly and her roommates, who I had been FaceTiming with, and then we went around and we essentially met all of each other's families. So
Okay.
we did a trip for about a month where I went and met her parents and her grandparents, and then I brought her to meet my mom's side of the family, and then she spent some more time with my dad's side of the family, which she had already met. But I think because
Yeah, we
you
did
had
everything.
already met my family and had that week, it was 2 days,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
guess you stayed at my ski house,
I
and you
mean,
met my family, so
known-
like you said,
well, yeah,
it's like, okay, I could marry this guy.
well, I knew it.
But for me,
but-
I was like, okay, I'm
Make
down.
it sound, I
and
swear to you. Yeah, really wasn't like that, but it was just the whole, like, he was the full, I think
No.
he's the complete package,
Yeah.
the whole package.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole
So,
pat package.
the whole package.
Once we hit it off that first weekend, we were kind of in that. When
Yeah.
you know. And
I mean, it's
The
been
rest-
almost 10 years, and
Yeah.
I've never regretted it once.
Yeah.
Like, I never would have taken it back.
I couldn't agree more. I think so many things about a relationship, for me at least, are things that I either need to work on or I'll take accountability for, and the rest I think works itself out. Just having that initial commitment, and she still like gets me super excited, and I can't keep my hands off her. Anytime we're walking up the stairs, I'm grabbing and she's swatting, and so but there's, once that spark is there, it's like the rest of the stuff you have to, if you have the commitment, you put in the work and it works itself out. But you have to have that kind of initial, I'm ready to make this
Okay,
work, and
But
not
what
quit on it.
are some challenges that have arisen? Because it sounds great, but like stuff happens.
I
right?
definitely think that when you bring kids in, it definitely adds.
Changes
Well, you know, I personally, and this is just me, I'm like, it's hard to imagine being married to one person for your entire life and not having kids, because it's like something that you have in common. It's like a common goal. It's something you both love. It kind of is like, it keeps you grounded because you do it for each other, but you also do it for them, and like the whole goal of the family.
foundation.
Yes, and we have like similar goals and like visions for our lives, so like that definitely helps. But when you do bring kids, and he's amazing with the kids.
He's
so
amazing.
hands-on.
Thanks,
He
Liz.
reads to them every
He's
night. Like I
super
have no
hands-on.
complaints. But they you know, they cry and complain sometimes, and it's like you have to make sure that like you can shift your energy after dealing with like a temper tantrum or something, to not take it out on your spouse, which
Partner,
is
yeah.
definitely
That would
he
be
has a
so
better time with
hard.
it than I do. I'm like,
I struggle with the dogs.
Yeah.
Like the dogs are
Yes.
giving me a hard time. I like look at Chris and I'm like, I hate you.
Yeah.
Like it's hard.
yeah.
I
It's
can't
hard.
imagine with kids.
Yeah.
but I mean, he's so great that like
Yeah.
I can't complain because he's so helpful.
Like I can't remember one like thing that I came to with for you guys, like whether it was like a birthday party for Fiona, and also like you guys don't have babies. You guys have like how old are Fiona and Philia?
Figgy's 8 and Fiona's 4. Oh no,
Other
no,
way
no,
around.
no, no. Figgy's 3, she'll be 4 in July, and Fiona's 8.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So like you guys have been in it. So like you only did 2 years married without kids.
Not
and-
even.
Not
I
even.
got
We got
pregnant
married in March, and then we found out Fiona was coming in like April,
no,
late
like
April.
May. Like I would have gotten pregnant in April.
Yeah.
Like people probably thought it was a shotgun wedding because of how quickly it got, but there's no way that I would have known I was pregnant after a weekend.
Okay, so
Not
at what
that we had
point-
sex, obviously. Obviously.
Wait, so my question, so like at what point did you guys start being like, okay, we just got married. Okay, I'm pregnant. Like at what point were you like, who's gonna like take over on finances?
I think-
Who's gonna be like what roles? Like those conversations.
So I've just always let him take over finances.
Okay.
He pays everything, and I don't. But
But you've always contributed. You've always worked.
yes.
Yeah.
So I like to have, you know what? I mean, I work, I contribute, like,
You always have.
yes, I always have. Before I started my
Pilates.
business, I put all of my money into our
Joint
joint
stuff.
account. But now that I have my business, I do have like a separate account, but I'm just like saving it for like the big things.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what will, or if I want something, or if the girls want something, or just like if we want something. But I'm trying to like save.
And that's
as much
never
as
been
I
like
can.
an issue for you either. Like you guys just have this way of working together.
Like
where
Yeah,
it's
it's a
not
common
big
goal. I
Spoken.
mean,
Yeah.
so when we first had Fiona, I was a stay-at-home mom, and that is the hardest job in the world. I mean, so precious, but like so hard. It's around the clock. It's lonely because you have a baby that like doesn't talk back to you. And it was definitely like, I think that was like the hardest part. I don't even know if you knew. That was like the hardest part of our marriage for me, just in general, because it was very isolating to have a child and be a stay-at-home mom, being
And
away
you had
from
gone
my
from being
family,
so social.
being so social,
You were
out all the
out
time. I
every
mean,
night.
not even a year before, because she was born January 22nd. I mean, on my birthday, January 27th,
young.
the
You're
year prior, I was
20.
booking a trip to Vermont to
Yeah.
meet him. So
How old were
yeah,
you?
I'm right now.
no, when-
right then I just turned 27.
Yeah. it's
Oh, and
so
I was
young.
still 27 when Fiona was born, and then I
was
turned
partying
28
a
5
lot.
days later.
Yeah.
At 27.
Yeah, a lot. The 27 packed in a lot for me, and I was born on January 27th, so it's kind of my lucky number, 27.
Yeah.
But it
I
definitely
think you
packed a
did
lot
an
in.
amazing job and
Thank
was
you.
really
Thank
graceful in your
you.
transition from Miami Molly to motherhood. I think
I agree with that.
Okay, when I started our pasta night tradition, I never realized how much it would impact our relationship for the better. I've never been super into journaling, to be honest, but designing the pasta night journal has given us a way to follow our progress.
It's the same with me and Chris. Honestly, it was really hard for us to find intentional time to connect with each other, but the Pasta Night journal set finally gave us that space to do so. And it's also made us better communicators in our relationship.
Right? It's such a simple yet meaningful way to keep the communication flowing. It's for couples who want to dive deeper into their connection, but in a fun, relaxed way over dinner and maybe some pasta.
Exactly. It's not about waiting for the right moment, it's about creating it. Imagine a cozy night in, a great pasta dish, and some thoughtful prompts to get you talking about the things that really matter.
Not to mention, it's like a mini date night in a box. You can even make it a monthly tradition like we do. It's such a great way to reflect and grow together.
And the best part, just like us, you don't have to be a relationship expert. It's designed to be lighthearted yet meaningful with prompts that help guide deeper conversations.
So if you're looking for something to spark more connection in your relationship, this is it. It's our favorite way to keep the love and the conversation going.
Head over to pastanightclub.com to grab your Pasta Night journal set and bring more intentional love into your relationship. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pasta Night Club for more date night inspiration and relationship tips.
We can't wait to see you there.
I think the conveniently there was an opportunity for me to start working with my brother in the business that he had just started when I had come down here. So I had a lot of work to do, and we've grown our business quite a bit since then.
That's
So-
the biggest difference too between Fiona and Figgy. They're 4.5 years apart. We had no money when Fiona was born.
Yeah, we were in a
like
one-bedroom
it was
apartment.
definitely
It was
a
tight.
completely different situation. I mean,
I remember
moved
that
down
apartment.
here. It was cute, but it was one
It was
bedroom.
so cute though. And you guys
And-
lived like the cutest little
Yeah.
like Miami Beach life with like this little girl.
Well,
It
you're
was
an interior
she-
designer, so I'm sure
It,
it makes
yes, and I was
Yeah.
kind of trying to
beautiful.
decide
Exactly.
how I was gonna. So that was like the first, and then 4.5 years later when we had Figgy, it was just like such a different. I mean, we were in this, bigger house. I had a nanny. It was like
nanny. We're on the
and I-
water with a
yeah, you're on
dock.
the water. I mean, your guys'
Totally-
place.
it
is
was
insane.
definitely it was two different experiences. I'm glad I had both of them, and I don't think either of them missed out on anything or had anything better than the other one. But
Was it different on your relationship? Like, how did you feel on your side as like each of them had been born? Like, were you like, shit, I'm so overwhelmed? Or like, were you like, I got this?
I mean, it is overwhelming and it's challenging and it's exhausting, but the moments that you do notice what it's all about, and like, we live in Miami, so everything's superficial. There's so
Yeah.
much access to going to spend 20 grand at the club or
Yeah.
whatever else that
Yeah.
there's so much more meaning and just to use Molly's phrase, just like I feel my cup getting fuller when I'm interacting with my kids
yeah,
more so than when I'm at the club at Live,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
at a nice table or something.
Right.
So there, I think, although, and it's
I
funny
feel that
being
way about
so
your
close
kids
to it,
too.
right? And it's funny being so close to it because we live in the city where there is all
Yeah.
of that going on, but we're raising a family, for me, it always
well-
felt like I'm here in Miami, but I'm also doing these dad things.
That was the
Yeah.
hardest part about the first one because we were so young and it was such a fast change. But there's nothing like the first baby. I mean, it is like a love you'll never have. It's so like sweet and like, oh my God, it just like memorable. But then I was so exhausted. It's like a kind of a blur, but it's just like the best.
Do you guys feel like that was actually then the foundation of your
Yeah.
marriage?
Yeah. I think that I honestly, I think, and I don't know, I think that could have been a big make or break it for us. Like I could have gotten married, gotten pregnant a month later, had a baby 11 months later, and us like not even made it to our second wedding
Yeah.
anniversary.
That
And then-
happens to a lot of people.
And you know, and at that point, you're like, the baby's young, like you can like start like
Yeah.
and just
The
kind of
baby will
make a
never
new
know.
normal.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
happens all the time. I see it.
Yeah.
Like
I
friends
feel
of
like
ours.
A lot of people always say like it's good to date like or be engaged or be married for a few years before having kids, and you guys kind of did everything like
Opposite.
Right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you missed out on just it being the two of you?
So
That's a good question.
Yes.
like
That's
that's
actually
a great
really good
question.
I was gonna get to
No,
that for
I
sure.
would say I was
Yeah.
reading one of the questions in the pasta book, and it was saying that it was asking like, what would you like to do more of as a couple? And mine would definitely be travel. And one of the nice things about the fact that we have kids and we can't travel alone that often is about once a year we do a trip, just the two of us. Like last year we went to Puglia, like another wherever it is, whatever it is we're doing. It's so memorable and like so much better and so much more relaxing because we can't do it alone all the time.
Yeah.
But I do feel like because we had kids so young, I mean, I'm going to be, when Fiona's 21, I'm going to be 45.
It's amazing.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
amazing.
yeah. So I kind of feel like,
That's how I grew up with my mom.
yeah. So I kind of feel like on the other side of it, we're doing like we're gonna do that later. Like, we're gonna do all that. We still do all that,
Yeah.
and like
That's
I
what
don't
my
wanna,
parents are doing
yeah,
now.
Exactly.
I mean, they just got back from France.
Oh, I know.
They
My
did an
parents are living their best
amazing-
life right now.
Yeah, they
It's
did
like-
an amazing cruise.
crazy.
But like, it's funny because having a mom that did what you did,
Yeah.
now me as her daughter,
Yeah.
I felt so pressured. Like, why do I not have children?
No.
Like, but it's one of those things
Yeah.
that like, that's how I grew up, having a mom that was so young that now I'm like, oh my God, if I decide to have a baby, I'm going to be the old mom.
My
No,
mom had
you're
me at
not.
34, and I would always give her shit. I was like, "You were old when you had me." Like, I was so upset because
I'm
she-
33.
and I am 34 now, and I don't have kids, and I'm like, shit. Like, I was gonna have kids younger, so I could be like the young cool mom.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Oh, Molly will totally be the young cool mom.
I
She
hope
is the
so.
cool
She
mom.
is the cool
Yeah.
mom.
I mean,
She's
you know,
like,
she
yeah.
is.
I'm like the youngest mom in Fiona's grade. I'm like the regular aged mom in Figgy's grade. Actually,
Okay.
still on the younger side, kind of, but that because it's Miami. But then
How old
if
were
I
you
have
when you
another
had
one, I'll just be.
Ophelia?
I was so 32,
Okay.
and I'm 36.
I feel like it works so well between you guys. Like, you guys barely knew each other. You like had all of these things. Like, you just went so quickly with everything.
The spark.
And like for
I
a
think it
lot
was
of
this foundation of this, like, yeah, we're still very much into each other, and I think,
I think the
like-
spark is your
But
guys'
are you guys
yeah.
like, do you feel like you guys are both like understanding and patient? Do you feel like, I don't know, you like admire each other? Like, is there something that kind of feels
Let's
like,
get into the dirty stuff.
Yeah.
How do you
Uh,
fight? What
I'm
does that look
super
like?
patient. I think
Yeah.
people are blown
most
away at how much
patient.
patient Pat. I think it was just when you know, there's a good balance there that Molly's like super exciting and it like really gets me going on a lot of levels, like sexually, yes, but then on like party
Yeah,
levels and
yeah.
like her network of people, like I'll be randomly out with Molly. She's like, oh, I know that guy and I know that girl. And it's just, so she keeping up with her is exciting for me. And so because there's so much of that she gives me,
Yeah.
I'm like ready to.
She keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
She keeps me on my toes, and so I'm happy to just like really do what's needed and be patient
That's
with the
interesting.
kids.
and do you feel like he like kind of grounds you, like is patient, and so you
He's so patient, but you know our love
But when
language
I get
is
on the
his
nerves,
love
oh,
language is physical touch, and my love language is acts of services. So like
Okay.
every night
Okay.
before we go to bed, like I get in bed and I'm like, "Where's my water?" And like
Yeah.
he brings me like my water, and like I love that. Just so you know, I like love that you bring me water in bed.
Oh
So
my
that's
God,
like my.
it's not the big thing.
Oh my God, I
so
love it.
What?
It's not the jewelry she's decked out in. It's actually
It's
the
just the
water on
water.
the
I love it.
nightstand.
It's
Filling
my
up the
favorite thing.
nightside water
It is
cup.
my favorite
The
thing.
house on
No,
the
one
water,
of the
beautiful
questions-
daughters, the Italian vacation.
Water on my nightstand.
I
It
love
is
that.
like
That
my.
warms my heart.
One of our questions
so
is
thirsty.
how did you feel the most loved by your partner this month? So, water.
Is that your thing?
Is that
Yeah.
your thing?
Yeah.
That is definitely my
What do
thing.
you-
Sometimes
what
I
makes
have
you
to
feel
go
loved?
all the way downstairs to get the water. So
Yeah.
like when
Well,
it's a longer
obviously,
this is right.
mission,
Because
it's
you've got to
like
go to the Berkey.
Oh,
Can't get
the
it out of the
other-
sink.
no, but like
They live
sometimes
in,
when
like, a
you left
three-story-
the water
they live in a
bottle in the
three-story
garage,
townhouse.
I gotta go fish it out of the car.
I'm
She doesn't
like
even
the
know. I gotta
same,
go
though.
find it.
The other day, Fivit had already gotten into bed, and I was like, I wasn't inside the bed yet, and I was like, "Can you get me water?" And he will go and like get the water. And he's like, "But I'm so warm." I'm like,
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's
feel
a
like
thing.
it's so
Chris
nice.
knows.
Those little things that someone does for you is like very
Water,
special.
and I don't do the lights.
Wait, what makes
Yeah.
you feel loved?
Someone's got to turn the fan on the whole thing.
It's
Besides
definitely
sexually.
yeah, no. There's so many ways that I feel loved by Molly. Just like her patience with me. I mean, she went from. I've kind of always known that. Wow, Molly kind of changed her lifestyle, and like what she said earlier about just knowing she want to have
Miami
my babies. Like,
Mhm.
I can sense that. As crazy as she will get, and she's like Molly goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
Mhm.
But I kind of always know that that's fleeting, that's gonna pass, and like I am her guy, and she's good at showing me that, and I know that like she's in my corner. Like I know she went from kind of being a hot 20 something in Miami doing whatever she wants, and like
Being a hot 30 something.
yeah.
Get it
But
straight.
Yeah,
I've
don't you dare.
seen what she's
I'm kidding.
sacrificed to kind of be the mom in our family, and I
For
just
sure.
I know that that wasn't easy for her,
Aw.
was a
and she still
pleasure.
does it, and so
It's interesting to me that you guys had such a massive lifestyle change and never had a conversation about it.
I know.
Like going
fake it
for,
till you make it.
well,
That's-
like going from like Chris and I moving from Austin to Miami, I was so miserable in Austin. It was not the place for me. And like we've had so many conversations about like what does it look like our nightly routine? Like what does it look like us going out? Like we talk a lot, and I think it's probably because like we've spent so much time together just dating, like
Yeah.
just the two of us. And it's funny because like now I'm like, oh my God, is it overcomplicating a lot of things? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
yeah,
instead of like, you know how like you guys like you got married, had the kid, like you just had to do
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I definitely just like, I have a lot of faith. I don't know. I felt
do.
like everything's just going to be great. I still do. I have a lot of angels on my shoulders, and like I believe in God and all that. And so I feel like
I
I'm,
remember
like,
you
protected.
telling me
I
that
got angels.
at your house when you had Fiona. I remember you being like really stressed and being like, this is all gonna be great.
Yeah.
Like it was just like that's kind of just like what it
Yeah.
was like it's stressful, but like you just know.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what has been like you guys had to have had like one big obstacle or like one big thing that like
Or is there a consistent fight you guys have that's like always
Ooh,
the
well,
same?
I'm like a fiery fighter. I'm like I'll like yell, but I get over everything immediately.
yeah.
Like
No
I
grudges.
no grudges, and like not long. Like
I think
like,
that's important.
Yeah.
for a
I
relationship.
like
But you're like that in all aspects of your life. I've
Everything.
seen you be like that in friendships. I've seen
super
you-
intense,
Yeah.
super hot.
But it's not
And
intense,
then-
it's passionate.
Yeah,
yeah, but I feel like I always keep it moving, and so like I have to like I'm trying to not be too hot-headed, and so because people will like not get over it as fast as I
Yeah,
do, but I get
yeah.
over everything. So that's like what I work on is like
Well, and it's funny because like that's the same thing that like you
Woosah.
love about her, right? So it's like one of those things that like I would be kind of nervous being like, oh, my husband loves that I'm like intense and like you know what I mean. But like at some point, like like okay, I gotta like rein it back, but like you can't lose yourself.
yeah.
You can't change.
No, the age helps too, because when we were in our 20s and we were saying about like changing your life and stuff, now I'm like the idea of like going out and socializing all night. Like my social cup is so full from being at school going drop off at school, going to work, doing all these things. So
And
like
you have tons of
my
stuff. You've
social
really
cup
built,
is
I feel
full.
like in the last few years, like a really beautiful like community that you guys have of like
Yes.
other couples? Do they all have kids?
Yeah, I mean, we have friends that don't have kids, friends that do have kids, but we have like a great network of like moms that I'm friends with, and my kids are friends with their kids. And so it does become, because the kids, they never, I mean, they want to do something every day. I mean, they want to go to parties and then. And so it's nice when you have, like, you do find yourself gravitating towards the friends that have kids just so that your kids can play with their kids. But then it doesn't, then you go out for like a girls' night and like, nobody has kids. Now we're just women out at dinner, and like then it's like bringing your friends that don't have kids.
You
and
and I'm
stuff.
like,
exactly.
Come meet me at the Good Time Hotel during swim week. But you always show up for those things, though.
I do. I try and make an effort because I want to stay close with my friends that don't have kids, because I'm not going to have small children forever. I mean, Fiona's just like probably like 4 years away from like not wanting to hang out with me all day. So I'm like, you have to be present, keep your relations. I mean, we really have to do it all. We got to work. We got to look hot. We got to like be a good mom, keep up with your old friends, make new friends.
You are doing it
It's
all.
like, you get a rhythm and you just keep going.
Do you guys have any fun traditions? Like whether it's just the two of you or with your family, any little fun things you guys do?
Ski trips.
Yeah.
Love to go skiing.
Vermont.
Do the girls know how to ski?
Oh, yeah,
Fiona
Fiona
does.
rips.
Figgy's gonna be learning soon.
Fiona like wants, that's her favorite sport. I could see her like
Killing it.
going to like
We
boarding school to
Molly's
ski.
good
Like, she's
about-
like a skier. It's her favorite thing.
Molly's good about
I wanna
making sure we have
encourage that.
something to look forward to, whether it's a trip or a big trip or just like a small event that's local. It's always something that we're planning that we kind of try to put our eggs into and say, let's get excited about
My
that.
mom always said you have to have the secret to a happy life is to have someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. So I always want something to like look forward to and like all.
I love
that.
that so much. Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
That's like, we need to like adopt that. I
It's
feel like
so
that needs
true,
to go into
though.
the next version
I
of
mean,
the
if we
journal.
don't- I'm so looking forward to our trip. We're taking a 6-week trip on next Wednesday. We leave. I'm so excited about it. I've crushed this month in business because I've been telling everybody like, if we're going to do this, we got to do this now because I'm leaving for the summer. And I was go. And now I'm just going to do nothing and relax for 6 weeks. And then I'm like, I have to start planning my next trip so that when I come home, I have something to look forward to. You got to plan the next one before you leave on the first one.
How has it affected you guys in your relationship? Like, okay, like not saying that you weren't super busy always, because you always have been, whether you were teaching Pilates, whether you were designing furniture. I mean, you have had so much going on always.
Yes.
But my question is, like, obviously Once Upon Upholstery has really taken off, right? Like 3 years ago, you told me about it. It was an idea. You started doing like some furniture reupholstering for some local people. And now it's like booming. Like you have your own facility. You have your own thing happening.
Yeah.
Like how has that, and you've always been really busy with your company. So like what has happened
thank God for
now?
your company.
What has happened now?
Well, we've expanded quite a bit since 2015 when we started. We had like 20 employees. Now we have over 130.
Yeah, you guys are huge.
So, yeah, we're a really big packaging company. But for Molly's company, in terms of like the dynamic of growing it, I really had to be cognizant of just like supporting her, whether it
been so
was
supportive.
financially, which I really didn't do too much of.
Yeah.
She kind of has steered it on her own, but just with the time and being like cognizant, like, hey, if she asks me to pick up the girls or do something at school, I will make that kind of sacrifice to make sure that she can. I don't put my job before her job. If she has a commitment that she needs to make, I'll do whatever we need to make sure that she can fulfill her commitment, because I'm kind of in a position.
And I
where
love that
I
because
can shift
she
things
helps
around.
me with my taxes, which I have to pay him every month.
Yeah, I'm an
So
employee now. Once
yes,
upon a
he's
Upholstery
like,
too.
he does all that. And then I have a pretty good grip on everything, but I do like deliveries. So if my truck's busy,
Your delivery guy, I helped you get.
My delivery guy that works for me was his delivery guy, so I took it. But then if we're busy doing something else, then I'll go and get one of his guys to go and do this other job. So it's nice that we both have like trucks and people and
And you can kind of like,
what's it called?
You
Like
can help each other.
Yeah.
It's so nice that you guys both have a similar like entrepreneurial backgrounds.
on your for your daily like routine, who does what?
So we both wake up in the morning, we get him ready for school. Normal routine, he takes him to school because he's going to work
But you
and
still
he's
get
up
up,
and
even though
out.
you don't have to take them.
Yeah, because I got to say goodbye to him. You got to like get him ready, like, and then they go.
Guys
and,
that
and
kiss
then
their
I
wives
kind
before
of
they leave
start-
too live, I think, like 10 years.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. I
think
saw
it's
that.
So then they go and I get ready and then I do like whatever clerical I can do at the house. Like I send all my estimates and invoices from the house. I like to do like emails with my customers from the house because when I go into the shop, it's all about the projects we're currently working on. And when I'm
Okay.
at home, I kind of do some stuff for the projects I will be working on.
Got it.
And then I go into the shop, sort through everything, make sure everything's cut, assign all the fabric to the right things. And then I go into consultations and then I'm picking them up. And I try and get a workout in like once or twice a week. Otherwise, I do stuff at home.
So
But-
you pick them up. So you drop them off. You
Yeah,
pick
I
them
pick 'em
up.
up.
Mhm.
And do you
And then
go straight to the office?
Yes. Yep. We're usually straight to the office. Sometimes we'll have like walk-in days or something else where we're doing some sort of activity.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
today we both dropped them off because they had Fiona had her Marie Antoinette presentation and she dressed up with the beehive wig and the
No,
dress like we
we
had
need a
her
picture.
We need that
head to
picture.
toe.
It's a picture of
Show
Like
Fiona
the
Marie
most
Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette you've ever seen. It was adorable. So like we all went in to hype her up there,
I love
and
that.
then
And
I'll go pick
then,
'em up.
yeah, usually I'm solving like 5 or 6 different problems. So I usually have someone that's asking me for something as soon as I walk in. And then
So you're
I'll
like
get to those.
unavailable while you're working.
I wear so many hats in our business. We make a joke about it all the time. I could be executive partner right into like machine technician, right into like janitor or something. It's when you're a business owner, you have to wear all the
You
hats.
do it all.
Yeah,
so-
all the
we,
hats.
we know how that feels. So I guess that like my next thing. So if there's like a change in the routine or like things like that, like when do you guys get your time to like talk? Like Michelle was saying, like maybe it's not a tradition, but like if you guys are having an argument or you're disagreeing on something or you want to touch base on something, like how do you guys do that?
Usually at night
right before bed.
before bed.
I try to never go to bed angry. Like
Okay.
never go to bed angry. I seriously don't hold on to anything. Like I'm so like if we get in a fight at dinner, like I forgot about it. Like 30 minutes later, I really do move on
Have you
quick.
always been like that,
I've
or is
always
that
been
something?
like that.
Yeah.
I've always been like that.
Which is hard for me because
Yeah,
I'm
I've
like a
always been like that.
problem solver. Like if
Mhm.
she tells me something's wrong, I just want to fix it. Like
yeah,
I just,
I'm
and so
because then
if
there's another
she's
problem
already-
coming. Who knows?
She's already over whatever happened, and I'm still like, but I
Thinking
haven't
about
fixed
it.
anything yet. How have you moved on?
I think it's like with gift. It's like I think for the most part, it's like a good thing. You keep it moving. But
Yeah, it is.
or it's like a
Yeah.
toxic trait. Forget it happened. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, but I like
I
that
don't
though.
know.
I think that there's something to be said for that for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess that like as we're just like wrapping up, I mean this has
Yes.
been amazing. And I know I feel like you guys have dropped so many like good takeaways for me to take back to like my relationship.
Yay, I hope
But like
so.
is there anything that you would want to leave people with? Like
Any tips for a
yeah,
lasting
for other
marriage?
relationships.
have sex regularly.
Okay.
If you're not having sex
Second that.
regularly, like I feel like
What
That's
does
a good tip.
regularly
Mean
mean?
to you guys.
I mean, it could be every day.
Oh,
wow.
Or
you guys are having
like-
sex every day?
I mean, yeah, it could be every day. It could be like maybe like
In the
3 or
mornings
4
or
times
at
a-
night?
At night, like before bed.
Okay.
Sometimes
like to have
after I
some-
drop the girls off, I'll give her a call to say, "Hey, I left this at the house. Should I run back?" And judging on her answer, I may or may not drive home for mid-morning
Yeah,
dinner.
yeah.
Uh,
Definitely have sex. I feel like if you're not having sex, like that's definitely not. You're not
yeah, like brings you
connecting.
closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Especially if you have after you have kids. And then just like being honest, loving each other, being faithful, like never even thinking otherwise, because like I feel like if you're like lying or cheating or doing anything, like the relationship's over.
Yeah.
Just like save your time.
Yeah.
And then what else? Any other takeaways?
I think it's I try to put Molly's needs before my own, but then I like because I'm obviously gonna always have my needs like in the back of my head, like I need this.
Yeah.
But if I'm intentional about like if I happy wife, happy life is like what the guys say, I guess.
Sure.
It's totally true. She's always right. So so I try to like lead with that, and every time I forget that should be my intention, if I can come back to it and forget about like if I can detach myself from whatever's making me feel angst or something, and I can just focus back on what does Molly need from me and how can I do that.
Guys, take
So
note.
special, right?
That is.
I feel like we
really
could
special.
sit down. Like having similar goals, wanting the same things, wanting a nice life. We both want a nice life. We both want,
Fancy things.
not even like just a nice life, nice place to live, nice trip, nice family.
Experiences.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Need nothing.
But you have-
always want for things. Got to be hungry, never thirsty.
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
you
that's a
know,
good one too.
yeah. Even though I just said I'm always thirsty, I want water all the time. But mostly hungry.
I like fake it till you make it too. There's kind of a mentality that I live by where like if I don't know something, I put my best foot forward and just go through the motions. And eventually the pattern, like muscle memory, might start to kick in. If I just fake it enough, I might start to embody whatever I am faking. And
So
then-
true.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much
This
for
was
being
Thank
fun.
you.
This has been
Excited.
amazing.
This
No,
was
it's
so
been
much
so
fun.
good.
Ocean.
I'm
Yeah.
like nervous for other interviews now that
Yeah.
we're gonna do
No,
because
you
I feel like
guys
no one's gonna
are
be
great.
this like amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh my gosh, this was like so much fun. Is that an hour? I was like,
Yeah.
I think it was
Boom,
more
already
than an
done.
It
hour.
was more. Yeah, we
Crushed
love
it.
you guys
So
so
much
much.
fun.
And we're really excited to hear about, like what keeps coming out of your pasta night journal
And you.
experiences.
Yes.
so
I am
excited
too.
for y'all.
Thank
So I think this
you.
was amazing.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. And keep us posted. And we'll be featuring you guys in our Dish newsletter that you can sign up for in our show notes. And stay tuned for more fun content.
That was another amazing episode of Love and Pasta.
Share your love story with us on Instagram, Pinterest, or TikTok at Pasta Night Club. We can't wait to see what you send, and we'd love to feature you on our next episode.
Okay, listen, if you're planning a wedding, you have to know about guest lists. It's like your own private social network for your big day, which is so cool. It keeps all of your guests connected in one spot. Honestly, it's so much better than just a wedding website. With guest lists, your guests can connect with each other, ask questions, and you can share real-time announcements and updates. There's also a shared photo album so everyone can upload their pictures after the event. My husband and I went to a destination wedding where they used guest lists, and it was so much fun. The couple built excitement before the weekend by posting local guides, recommendations, and cute photos of the two of them. And even though we didn't know many people going, we connected with other guests through the app. My husband even organized a golf day with some of them, and it was great because he didn't have to bother the bride and groom for people's contact info. I also loved seeing everyone's photos in the shared photo album after. It made the whole experience a lot more personal. If you're planning your wedding, go to the App Store and download Guest List now. Search Guest List Wedding App in the App Store or Google Play Store, or head to getguestlist.app to learn more. You can also follow them on social media at Get Guest List.